2 weeks ago, I uploaded the first part of a new series where I talk about different trainers having new signature Pokemon if they were able to have any Pokemon from generations 1 through 8 on their team. And that video was received very well by you guys. In fact, it's been my most popular video since I returned. And like I mentioned there, I'll be uploading these videos every 2 weeks, with part 2 of what if gym leaders had different ace Pokemon being today's video. If you haven't watched part 1 already, be sure to do that first as we run over the criteria and rules of what we're doing when swapping out these ace Pokemon. But there was a little bit of confusion about some of the rules from the last videos, and we'll be clarifying those as the video goes on. And yes, though we are covering the gym leaders from Unova to Galar in this video, we will still have more videos of the sort with the trainers from the Pokemon League and evil teams being some of the ones we cover in future videos. Also, I just want to mention that though in a way I do consider the trial captains to be gym leaders, I'm not including them in this video and will in fact be saving them for a future video because we have quite the number of gym leaders on this list already. Again, I probably won't have the best choices with each of these gym leaders, so if you do have any better suggestions, be sure to let me know of them in the comment section down below. So with that out of the way, let's get started and do some swapping with these gym leaders. The Unova region. Now, there are going to be a few unique cases where I talk about more than one gym leader at a time in this video, like how I'm going to be talking about Silent Chili and Cress all at once, rather than individually. Silent Chili and Cress have the infamous Elemental Monkeys as their signature Pokemon, and I could just give them their own individual Grass, Fire, and Water type Pokemon, but that ruins the synergy of the gym leader trio. Instead, I'm going to give them the fully evolved Johto starters as their aces. Now, just to clarify, obviously if they're the first gym leaders, these Pokemon wouldn't be fully evolved. They'd probably be at their base forms. But for them, as well as every other trainer in these videos, to make things simple, we'll be using their new aces' final forms as a representation of that entire Pokemon family. Now there aren't any other Grass, Fire, and Water trios besides the starters and the Elemental Monkeys, so I had to choose one set of starters for sure. The reason why I stuck with the Johto starters is because they're one of the only two set of fully evolved starters to all have a single typing, just like the Elemental Monkeys. And the reason why I chose them over the Galar starters? Well, I just think they'd be better cooks. A lot of you were also wondering why I gave Cinderace to Flannery instead of Typhlosion. And since I'm trying to avoid duplicate aces as much as possible, you now know the reason why I did so. Cheren and Lenora are both normal type leaders from the Unova region from two different time periods, but they both have very basic ace Pokemon. Stoutland for Cheren and Watchog for Lenora. Now between the two, Lenora is the easier one to swap for me. I'd swap her Watchog for a Diggersby for a few different reasons. Watchog and Diggersby are both Route 1 Pokemon, but Diggersby is a lot more powerful. Lenora's also an archaeologist, and while there isn't a normal and rock type Pokemon, Diggersby is a normal and ground type Pokemon, which fits the bill for a normal type archaeologist. With Cheren on the other hand, I really don't know who to give him. I was thinking Chinchino because Professor Juniper shows it off in the beginning of the game, kinda making sense for Cheren to have it as his ace, but then I decided to go with Porygon Z. My main reasoning for this is just aesthetics, as this is probably the closest normal type Pokemon to match Cheren's outfit. But Porygon is also a Pokemon that only the protagonist or a significant trainer like an old rival would have. So there's that. With Roxy, as you can see on the thumbnail, we're swapping out her Scolipede for Toxtricity Amp form. Cause bro, there ain't no better match in all of these lists than this. This was the other Pokemon that I looked at and went, oh my god, it's perfect. Her being a poison type guitarist and Toxtricity being a poison type guitar playing Pokemon? Never thought I'd see the day where this happened. Berg was a little tough cause there isn't a painting bug type Pokemon as such, and Leavanny was his ace, helping him in his art with its string. But to take the artist route a bit more differently, I think we can go with Vivillon. It's a Pokemon that has 20 or so unique forms, with each pattern being very artistic and captivating in their own regard. And I think it's a Pokemon that Berg would really want to have on his team. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't really know which Pokemon to give to Elisa, Zipstrika is her usual ace, and it fits her modeling career on the runway. The new electric types that came to mind for her shining model over here were Oricorio Pom-Pom style and Morpeko. But one seems too cheerleader-ish, and the other one has a dark side, which Elisa doesn't really have, or at least show. So, I looked towards Pokemon Masters for help, and settled on Rotom to be her ace Pokemon, as she does in fact have an EX sync pair with Rotom in those games. And her outfit really shows off her modeling career as well. Now it might be a weak ace as a standard Rotom, but maybe its form can change for battles depending on the starter you choose. Clay's ace is traditionally Excadrill, as he's a businessman in the mining industry, and he's earned the title the Underground Boss. And while I can't think of a better ground type Pokemon than Excadrill for mining, I don't think Nidoking is a bad choice for him. One thing is that Nidoking matches Clay's description of being the Underground Boss, and another thing is that Nidoking is known as the Drill Pokemon, so it must be able to help out in mining in some way. And beyond that, I can see Nidoking as a pretty good businessman. When it comes to Skyla, her ace is Swanna, and I don't really understand the reasoning behind this. If it were up to me, I would have given her Braviary, and that's the Pokemon I'm going to give her right now. It might be from the same region, but Skyla being an American flying type gym leader gives her a perfect reason to have Braviary as her ace. Not only that, but I think the contrast of their incredibly masculine and feminine designs is a nice touch as well. Bryson's ace normally seems to be Beartic, which they probably only gave to him as a lack of options from the Unova region, but I'd personally give him Weavile. I know a lot of you are wondering why I gave Mr. Rhyme to Price in the last video and not Bryson, but Mr. Rhyme is a comedian, not a versatile actor like Bryson, and I think Weavile fits his role better. As an actor, Bryson is usually seen portraying the role of Bryson Man, who is an evil or villainous type of character, so Weavile fits into the role. He even uses one during his Bryson Man performance. On top of that, Weavile is an incredibly skilled physical attacker, and I don't know if you've seen Bryson Pokemon Generations, but this man definitely knows how to throw hands. Coming to the dual dragon type leaders of Opelucid City, we have Drayden and Iris, sharing their ace Pokemon Haxorus. And while I will be giving them two separate ace Pokemon, I'm gonna wait and talk about Iris in the champion video, cause I think her ace will be the same as both a gym leader and champion. For Drayden on the other hand, I was considering giving him Dragapult, mainly cause I thought Drayden looked a little spooky as a kid. But even though it's probably a lot weaker, Drampa is probably the best Pokemon for him. It's a Grandpa Dragon which has the ability Berserk, which already screams Drayden, and Drampa's normal typing could be an indication to Drayden's role as the city's mayor. And for our final gym leader of the Unova region, we have Marlin, whose ace is normally Jellicent. But honestly, there's no better ace Pokemon for Marlin than Mantine. Mantine is a Pokemon that Marlin uses frequently within the games, but it's his ace Pokemon in the anime, and even within the games, he's said to have learned how to jump so well by practicing with the Mantine that lived by his childhood home. So yeah, it all checks out pretty well. Whew, that was a long list of gym leaders. But don't worry, cause this next one will be much quicker. The Kalos region. Now with the Kalos region, we're going to do something completely different from the rest of the regions. And this might seem boring or lazy to some of you, but what I want to do is swap out each of the Kalos gym leader aces for a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. This is obviously due to the connection that Kalos has to Mega Evolution, and how big of a deal it is in that region. I feel like all of the ace Pokemon that these gym leaders carry should be able to Mega Evolve. Because of this, many potential Pokemon have been eliminated as possible options, and we won't have very in-depth explanations for any of these pairs, as it's pretty much just, why did I choose this Mega Pokemon over this Mega Pokemon? But again, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I think it makes sense to both the game's story and geography. And also, maybe they won't Mega Evolve the first time they see you, since with someone like Viola, she'll be incredibly hard to defeat with a Mega on her team. But just like before, the Mega Pokemon will be representing the whole family on this list. With Viola, since she's the first gym leader, her ace was the basic bug type Pokemon of this region, Vivillon. And to give her the only basic bug that can Mega Evolve, we're gonna give her Mega Beedrill. It'd make for an easy first gym battle as a regular Beedrill, and a very challenging rematch, as Mega Beedrill is definitely no pushover. Grant is the first time we're seeing a gym leader with two ace Pokemon after a very long time, as he has both Tyrantrum and Auroras as his aces. And since they are fossil Pokemon, the only fitting Mega Pokemon for him would have to be Mega Aerodactyl, the only fossil Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. Now Karina is a rather odd case. Her ace is actually Hawlucha and not Lucario as many of you may think. But when I think of Karina, Lucario is the Pokemon that comes to mind, since she's seen so frequently with it, and because she uses and gives you one at the Tower of Mastery. Because of that, I'm gonna eliminate Lucario as a possible ace for her here too, and give her Mega Lopunny instead. It's a powerful fighting type Pokemon that many trainers probably won't be prepared for, and one that can really help take care of any ghost types that she has to go up against. Spoilers for two of the Elite Four members, we only have two grass type Megas, Mega Venusaur and Mega Sceptile, and one of these two will replace Ramos's Go-Goat, as well as impact two of the Elite Four members, depending on the Mega we choose. And since I already gave Swampert as an ace to Crash or Wake, it looks like we're giving Ramos Mega Venusaur. While Heliolisk is actually a good choice for Clement in his gym, it doesn't have a Mega, so Mega Manectric is the Pokemon we're gonna give here. I could give him Ampharos, but I'm saving Ampharos in case I need a Dragon type ace for another possible trainer that I haven't decided on yet. Bad reasoning, I know, but Mega Manectric also matches Clement's color scheme, so you can't say that my reasoning is that bad. Valerie's ace is normally a Sylveon, which matched her design very well, and though she had a Mawile in her team before, we're gonna give her Mega Mawile as her ace. I was really considering Mega Audino because I also thought that would match her design better. But let's be honest, she can't really do much battling with Mega Audino, but Mega Mawile will wreck house. As I mentioned before, Olympia has Meowstic as her ace, and she as a trainer seems to have the ability to see into both the past and the future, which means that there's no better ace Pokemon for her than Mega Alakazam, because its Pokemon Moon Dex entry is basically saying that it has the ability to know anything and everything about anyone it sees, just like Olympia. For Wulfric, his ace is Avalugg, but it only makes sense to have his ace Pokemon be Abomasnow. Not only does Abomasnow play a role in these games with the events at Frost Cavern, but Wulfric also uses one in the anime, and he in fact Mega Evolves it there as well. So I'd say, even without its Mega Evolution, Abomasnow is the perfect Pokemon for Wulfric here. The Galar region. With the Galar region, obviously most of these gym leaders have Pokemon that can Gigantamax as their ace Pokemon, and while it would be nice to give them Gigantamax Pokemon, I'm just gonna give them regular ace Pokemon. I gave the Kalos gym leaders Pokemon that can Mega Evolve because for the most part, they lack such aces, whereas the Galar gym leaders are the opposite case. They already have Gigantamax Pokemon, and the selection of unused Gigantamax Pokemon is very little, so switching them out for other Pokemon that can Gigantamax seems dumb and way too boring. And some leaders like Bay and Alistair don't even have other Gigantamax Pokemon of their typing. So for the sake of this list, I'm giving them regular ace Pokemon that will use Dynamax instead. Starting with Milo, or Milo, we actually have something we haven't seen for a while, as Milo is a gym leader who technically has 3 different ace Pokemon. Eldegoss in the main story, and Flapple or Appleton in the postgame, depending on whether you're playing through Sword or Shield version. Now the thing with Milo is that he's a big beefy farm dude, physically really strong, yet gentle as mentioned on his lead cards, and I think a Pokemon that would really suit him would be Go-Goat. Not only is it physically very strong and gentle, and a Pokemon that you see on a farm, but it also in a way matches Milo's gym challenge, making it overall a good choice for him. With Nessa, her ace is a Dreadnought, which works well for her, but Nessa is known to be the raging wave, despite her calm personality, so I thought Milotic would suit her best since it's a calm Pokemon, but one that can be very powerful in battle. On top of this, Nessa is a model, as seen in a rare league card, so for a gym leader with an appearance and career like hers, I think Milotic is the only fitting choice. She also seems to have some childhood connection with Milotic in Pokemon Twilight Wings. But I have yet to watch Twilight Wings myself, so no spoilers please. Moving on to Kabu, while his ace is traditionally Centiskorch, Kabu himself is said to be from the Hoenn region, so I think it's best we give him a fire type from there. And though we don't have very many options, I decided to go with Torkoal. I was considering Blaziken since Kabu always gets flared up for battle, but I think Torkoal fits him in his story a lot more. Slow and calm when outside of battle, and serious and heated up when in battle. He never gives up and always continues to move forward regardless of the pace he goes at, which personally reminds me of the story of the tortoise and the hare. And despite his internal youth, I think Torkoal kinda matches his exterior old age. I know Bee and Alistair are counterparts, but the Pokemon I've chosen for them aren't counterparts at all, so we'll be taking a look at them separately. And I actually struggled quite a lot with my choice for Bee. Her ace is traditionally Machamp, and I was considering giving her either Conkeldurr or Medicham as substitutes, and ultimately I decided on Medicham. Bee is seen to be very composed with her emotions, and very calm and stoic in general, so in that sense, Medicham fits. And while Conkeldurr would be cool because of its raw power, I think its design with its concrete and all is a bit unfitting for Bee. Alistair's ace is a Gengar, arguably the most popular ghost-type Pokemon, but I wouldn't say it's a ghost-type that fits him well. Again, while I did want to pair him up for Bee for an ace, I've given Alistair Mimikyu as an ace, so there's not really much to pair up with. Except, hey, maybe Beware, which by the way, I'm bringing back the Beware of Me merchandise, as well as some other merch, so stay tuned for that. Alistair and Mimikyu both have masks and disguises on, and don't reveal their true identities to anyone else. On top of that, Mimikyu is known to be very hateful and vengeful, and Alistair's league number for whatever reason reads hateful in Japanese wordplay. So it's a little dark, but hey, it's a perfect match. Opal traditionally has Alcremie as her ace, but if you ask me, Wigglytuff is the perfect Pokemon for her. It might seem like an odd choice, but hear me out. First of all, Wigglytuff is a Gen 1 Pokemon, the oldest generation, kinda showing off Opal's old age. Second, both Opal and Wigglytuff have these bluish green eyes that stare into your soul. Third, Opal has a lot of jokes in her gym, penalizing you like how you say if she's 88 rather than 16, she'll lower your Pokemon stats. And I feel like Wigglytuff is the kind of Pokemon to do that. And finally, because Wigglytuff is in fact pink. Oh, and Opal's uniform number reads as cute, and I feel like that's definitely something Wigglytuff would wear as well. Now before we move on to the other pink boy, Bead, I want to cover a few other gym leaders like Gordy and Melanie, since these two are son and mother and counterparts to each other in the games. I think it's important that their aces are counterparts to each other, kinda like how their original aces, Colossal and Lapras, are pretty much perfect counterparts by typing. The aces I'd give for these two would be Grant's ace Tyrantrum and Aurora's. Both are fossil Pokemon counterparts, and Pokemon that I can see them using. Gordy's uniform number reads as Rocky Area, and Tyrantrum looks like it literally has a rocky body. And Melanie's uniform number reads as Cold, and Aurora's Pokedex entries definitely agree with that. For our first ever Dark-type gym leader, Pierce, his ace is pretty much irreplaceable for him, as Obstagoon is the perfect fit. But since we can't let him have it here, I think Scrafty works good enough. It's the hoodlum Pokemon and a rebel in many ways, kinda like Pierce, and I could see it singing or jamming out to music the way Pierce does. Pierce's uniform league number also reads bad, which Scrafty is supposed to be, but most of all, it just fits the theme of Spikemud City. It may not be the best fit, but it works out. Coming to Marnie, I saved Bead so I could talk about Marnie and Bead together. Obviously these guys aren't gym leaders for the most part of the main story, and only become gym leaders afterwards, but they're still known gym leaders, and I think they would have different ace Pokemon depending on whether they were a rival or a gym leader, kinda like how they do within the games. And most of all, their aces would be counterparts to each other, as Grimmsnarl is Marnie's gym leader ace, a very masculine dark and fairy type Pokemon, and Hatterene is Bead's ace, a very feminine psychic and fairy type Pokemon. Now again, no other pair will work better for these guys than these Pokemon, but to make things simple as gym leaders, I just want to go for a masculine looking dark type Pokemon for Marnie, and a feminine fairy type Pokemon for Bead. And though it's not a perfect balance, the best duo I could think of in this case would be Hydreigon for Marnie and Gardevoir for Bead. This in one way works with both of their league numbers, but the contrast in their typings and designs is the most important part. And of course, Bead has a Psychic and Fairy type ace, which was needed since Opal pretty much bullied him out of using Psychic-type Pokemon. And finally, the gym leader to end all gym leaders, and by far one of the coolest gym leaders thus far. We have Raihan, who just like Lance, claims he's a Dragon-type trainer, but isn't really a Dragon-type trainer. Fun fact, Lance is said to have gotten his costume idea from Raihan's gym, and, well, I think he also picked up his idea of being a Dragon Master from there as well, cause Raihan uses a Weather team instead of a Dragon team. Now, I couldn't find any Dragon-type Pokemon that could excel in every type of weather, but we do have Garchomp here for several different reasons. Sticking to the theme of weather, Raihan mainly uses sand and sun as the weather effects on his team. Of course, Garchomp being a ground-type Pokemon and having Sand Force gives it some great boosts in the sand. But Garchomp also usually carries Fire-type moves, which can get boosted in the sun. Raihan and Garchomp also have a similar color scheme. It's not a perfect match of course, but the colors do check out in my opinion, and they even share some sharp teeth. Finally, Raihan is easily one of, if not the most powerful gym leader, even being stated to be Leon's #1 rival. And Raihan's uniform number also means powerful, which makes Garchomp one of the most powerful pseudo-legendary Pokemon, a very fitting ace for this incredibly popular Galar gym leader. But Garchomp was Cynthia's ace. Who can possibly replace Garchomp for one of the greatest champions in Pokemon history? Well, you're gonna have to find out on the next episode where we cover the Elite Four and champions of every Pokemon League. Or, you can just take a look at the thumbnail. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Again, be sure to let me know what you thought of this video topic, as well as the aces that I picked for the respective gym leaders. And let me know if you have better suggestions for some of them. Be sure to punch the like button or dislike button. Let me know how you feel. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions. Share the video with a friend. And subscribe and hit the little bell icon if you want to stay up to date with all my content. Take care of yourselves, have a wonderful day, and I will see you all over on the next video, alright? Later.